Folks, welcome back. We are at Wingnuts on Millersport, and unless you've been living under a rock, you know this guy to my right. It is Coach Pete Lembo. We got wings coming out here at Wingnuts.
Oh, do we have pizza too?
Coach, a great season, your first season. You kind of came in, I don't want to say things were like a little bit crazy. It was a little bit of a crazy.
I got hired very late.
I got hired
very late. It was towards the end of January. You know, most coaches get hired somewhere between Thanksgiving and mid-December. And then you have a little bit of time to put your staff together and put your plan together. No, we had to hit the ground running. Ryan Horton, our strength coach, was talking about the other day how I offered him the job at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, and 6 o'clock the next morning he was getting in his car from Atlanta to get here on Sunday to sign a contract to then be able to go in the weight room and start the program with the guys on Monday morning.
I love that. Seriously, guys who are ready to pick up the weight and go. Do you think that maybe it benefited you and you didn't have any time to look left or right last year? It was essentially just go, right?
It was. The John Madden once said, don't worry if the horse is blind, load the wagon and go.
Don't worry about the horse being blind, just load the wagon. Then let's go.
The thing I was always very grateful for was that half my career was spent as a head coach at 3 different places. And I don't think there's anything that can replace head coaching experience, hiring a good staff, having a plan in terms of what the first day and the first week and the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month are going to look like. And yes, things have to adapt and change because institutions are different. Having been there and done that and being able to lean back on a lot of experience that I've had certainly allowed that transition, I think, to go a lot smoother. And then certainly bringing in some really, really good coaches, many of whom I knew from previous experience elsewhere, was also very helpful.
Of course, continuity always means something in this sphere. With that said, we're obviously on to year 2. Seems like on the Twitter sphere, you're stacking a lot of wins. Is it more methodical movement this year offseason? It seems like there's a lot more confidence coming from within the program this year, especially from the coaching staff.
Well, fortunately, there's a lot of knowns because we've had such good retention. And all you see nowadays is this sort of free agency in college athletics with the transfer portal. And we feel very fortunate that we've been able to retain a high number of players. When you look at the FBS, we're right there in between Clemson and Notre Dame, 2 programs that I think have outstanding cultures. Even though I was a South Carolina Gamecock for 3 years, I got to give Clemson their due when it comes to culture.
You respect your enemy.
And the fact that we've had so little attrition in this day and age, when there are teams in our conference that have seen 30 or 40 departures in the last year, just all of those known commodities makes you feel really good. And yes, we have some big holes to fill, an All-American linebacker, a quarterback that ended up playing pretty well, some receivers that played really well for us, a tight end that played really well. We definitely have our share of holes to fill and questions to answer. And we've got a very challenging schedule ahead of us. But there is some confidence from the continuity and the structure of the organization. We are building a good culture, and I'm still very grateful to be here.
Yeah, like you said, there were some losses. Obviously, can't replace a Dolak. No doubt about that. He's tearing it up on the West Coast now. But you get a guy like Red Murdoch, who storyline is kind of similar to Dolak. A ton of tackles, completely underappreciated nationally, could make that jump. And then you get a guy back like McMillan. Obviously, a lot to look forward to this year. What do you think might surprise fans or UB faithful who saw this team last year and who are going to see this team take the field against Minnesota to start this year?
I hope it's better depth. And one of the things that impacted us last year was we started off the year playing pretty darn good defense. And then by about a third of the way through the season, because we started off a little bit slow offensively and didn't have quite the depth we'd like, you saw that defense get a little bit worn down, and it took them until about the month of November before they started playing a little bit better. Obviously played great in the bowl game. So I hope that our depth is better on that side of the ball. I believe it is coming out of spring ball, and that should help us because the more guys we can play, the more guys we can play early in the month of September. Injuries are a part of the game. You have all these different role players on defense and different personnel groupings, and you want to be able to move guys around. So if we can play 5 to 10 more guys on that side of the ball over the course of the month of September, I think that's going to really help us when it comes to that home stretch in November.
Now you have your grip on the depth, the roster of this program and everything. But one thing that seemed to stand out to you last year, you would always talk about the fans in your pressers. You would talk how important it is that we have those
No
fans.
question.
What did you see from them in year one, and what are you maybe expecting in year two?
Going into this season, there's really no reason to not get behind and support this group of guys. I mean, they have done an incredible job academically. They've done a great job in the community and on campus. They've represented this program so well in so many ways. They're totally immersed in Western New York. As we already mentioned, there's a lot of familiar faces on this team. And look, I think it's wonderful the support that the Bills have and the Sabres have and the Bandits have. But these things don't need to be mutually exclusive. I mean, you can bring the family to UB Stadium and spend the same amount you would going to the movies, park for free, short walk, and be there and be in the midst of a great Division I college football environment. And what a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
Seriously, and I know that, I mean, you were telling me, like, what was it? So now 14 months ago, you just got back into this mix, right? Last April. What are you most excited about to finish out going into year two?
Well, I've really enjoyed living here. Jen has really enjoyed living here. We've made such great relationships in this community. The people of Western New York are just so real, so authentic. And it's a lot of those personal relationships that make our time in these places so special. We've been here a year and a half, but you feel like you've been here for 10 or 15 years already. And so you take a lot of pride in representing the program, but also the university and also the community. And going out there that you got a lot of people counting on you that you want to make proud. And we're going to do everything we can to continue to make that happen.
I think Pete Lembo is going to make a lot of UB Bowl fans proud. So make sure you get out to UB Stadium this fall to watch these Bulls take down the MAC. Coach, thanks for taking the time with us today. Horns up, and let's go Bulls.
And let's eat.
And let's eat. And let's eat. Thank you, Wingnuts.